Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the J22 Report. I'm your host, Johnnie Market. You all know that drill. Hit that like button and subscribe if you already haven't. So let's get into the news and markets. The big news today, Federal Reserve's no changes to its forecast, that it will be necessary to cut rates 3 times. So, yeah, if you look at this channel, you knew that when the Fed started hiking rates, the only thing that was obvious was you knew they were going to bring them back down. Whether it's all the way down because they started from zero, that's one thing. But you knew they were coming back down. Whatever rate hikes they were going to give, some were going to be given back in the future. And they said that the Fed would need to lower rates by 0.75% at the end of the year. Now, I was looking on Twitter, and all these people were saying, why would the Fed need to cut rates? Equities are up, inflation's still running hot, and it said the higher than expected inflation readings haven't changed the story. Well, I mean, of course. The Fed's main job is to keep the government solvent and the banks solvent. So that trumps anything. So they don't care about inflation. They're never going to say that because they don't want inflation, because that would ruin their credibility. But that's their thing. And you also have to remember it's an election year. That's why they said they need to lower rates by 0.75% or 75 basis points or 0.75%. It's an election year. They want Joe in, and they are going to do what they can, and they're going to juice up asset prices. That's why I always said for this year, I thought there was a top originally. That didn't happen. I was wrong. But this year, I was like, the market's going to continue up because, it's an election year, and they're going to do what they can to keep Biden, and that's what it is. And the other thing too is, right now the S&P futures are at 5,300. Something was interesting. Avi Gilbert, who's a cycles analyst, he said, as long as the market holds over 5,091 and setting up to 5,350, and that could be the confirmation of the top. So if this is the thing, that's only about 50 more points that we're getting a top. I don't know where the top is. I'm not going to pretend to know. In terms of time, I don't think we have much more time. I think this year the market will do well. And then after that, either inflation's going to rear a very ugly head, and that's going to cause the markets to go down, or the Fed will try to fight inflation again, and it will go down. And what will happen is a very ugly ending. And then after that, I think gold, commodities, and everything will lead to another bull market. But speaking of gold, getting into that, my favorite asset, gold right now, as I'm speaking, with after hours, well, now it's at 21.96. So gold had a great day. The Huey was up around 8 points. The miners were up. It looks like this is breaking out. And I haven't been buying gold the last couple of months, partly for personal reasons. But we're almost getting to my target where I think it will just be too late to buy in this cycle is 2,200. Now, I think gold will go up. A lot of people say 2,500. That's only $300 more for this year. I think gold will probably go up to 27 or 2,800 personally. I just don't see it only because when gold moves, it moves. When it goes into a market, it gets going. Just looking at examples, in the early 2000, it went from 250 to about 600 or 700. You can argue 1,000, and then I would say let's go 800, because then after that was a separate move. It went from 250 to 800. And then the next move, which was after the '08 crash, that went from 800 to about 1900. And then the next one, that went to about, I would say in 2019 through 2020, that went from 1100 to 2000. These are all $800-900 moves. So I think this move started. I mean, I guess you can use 2,500 if you started from 1,600, but I wouldn't say 1,600 was the move. 1,600 was about. I would say this move probably starts from 1,800. So I think 26 or 2,700. Who knows? At 2,500 and the Huey is around 300 or 400 is when I'm going to start selling some mining stocks. Who knows? That's just my plan. But I think once gold hits 2,200, it's a time to ride the wave. That's just my opinion, not investment advice. But yeah, gold's looking good. This is a new bull market and it's coming. So in terms of silver, I was looking at these silver lows and I just want to do my next buying opportunity since I'm not really buying anymore because, and everyone's like, why are you doing gold? I have plenty. I don't need to be buying more personally. That's why I'm saying I'm not telling you what to do. Some people, if you don't have any, maybe a good idea is just get 10% and ride this wave and then sell. And then, so I don't know. That like if I didn't own any gold and I knew what I knew now, that's what I would do. I wouldn't tell you. But silver, if you're, what I think will be the next great buying opportunity is I'm looking at the bull markets, and in '67 silver was around $1.30, and then it topped around '74 at $6, went down. I don't know the exact because Kiko doesn't have the best. And in '74 it topped around $5, and then it went from, I would say, it went from like 2 or 3, basically up to 50 in 1979, and then it went into a bear market. So I'm going to start at bull market bottoms from early 2000 because I think that's really what matters. But with silver, 2000s, it was around $4. And then it kept going up sort of straight. And then it topped around '08. And the top was around $20. And then during the '08 crash, it got to the famous $9 silver. Wasn't down there for very long. So around $4.20, $9, and then it went straight to 50, and that's when it went down. Now, looking at this, I think what happened in 2011 is a bear market started, and that bear market bottomed out around $14. That was a low. So if you look at it, $4, $9, 14. Went up to around 20. And then it started a new consolidation. And in 2020, it did a spike low around 11 or 12. And then it went up to around 29. And the next low so far after going was around 18. So in my opinion, the next buying opportunity after this run up, and just based on everything, because in December of 2022, that low is around 18. And if you look at it, 4, 9, 16, or 4, 9, 13, and then 12, and now 18. It's either going to be 18 or 17, or I would say 22. So when the economy tanks and the market starts collapsing, and there is a deflationary depression that starts, then I would say the next great buying opportunity for physical silver will be around 18 and 22. Then I think the Fed will react, but I think that time it's not going to go into. I think as the world de-dollarizes, as the U.S. loses this war combined with the U.S. money printing, I think this time it's going into commodities. And then I think silver will finally break 50. So anyway, I think that's very interesting. And I'm just going back to reiterate a topping, say, yeah, it will have set up in place 5350 before we potentially do a market top. So I personally think it's around somewhere 5,500 or 6,000, but I'm just guessing stuff. I'm not really. But that's all I had to say about today is that, to recap, if you don't take anything away, market's going up, gold's going up, it's a good year. And I think, and the stock market's going up, but this is probably the last hurrah of this post World War II and post 2008 bull market. So enjoy it, and I will see you next video. So if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll hope to see you next video.